Rape culture is a subject I've addressed a few times in the past, and many others who are a lot smarter than me have also made videos and written about why it's something we should be aware of and concerned about. But just in case you don't know what I mean when I say rape culture, here's how it's defined by the Marshall University Women's Center. Rape culture is an environment in which rape is prevalent and in which sexual violence against women is normalized and excused in the media and popular culture. That's not the only definition of rape culture, of course, nor is it the most comprehensive one that there could possibly be. For example, there are instances, although they are relatively rare, where sexual violence against men is also normalized, and those are typically considered to be a part of rape culture as well. But nonetheless, that Marshall University Women's Center definition comes the closest of any of the ones I have read to describing what most people, including myself, mean when they refer to rape culture. One of the most common objections to the notion that rape culture is a problem here in the United States and throughout Western civilization in general is the fact that rape is against the law here. How can we have an environment in which sexual violence is normalized when it's illegal? It's illegal! Is it though? That's the point at which people who make response videos to this will cut in to say, yes! Or what about Saudi Arabia? Or some other glib attempt at a retort that is as fallacious as it is facile. I even gave him a nice facial to freeze frame on there. You're welcome, content parasites. Anyway, it's true that rape is illegal here in the US on paper, but practically speaking, it's a lot more legal than many of you might think. In all but a handful of states, the law determining what counts as rape is frustratingly murky. And in one state, there is one particular circumstance where rape is explicitly legal. That state, North Carolina. I don't know why I took a dramatic pause. It's in the title of the video. Last month, Kimberly Lawson posted an article to Broadly, the feminist blog hosted by Vice.com, detailing how, thanks to a 1979 ruling by the state Supreme Court in the case of State versus Way, a person who forcibly continues sex with someone after consent has been withdrawn is not guilty of rape in North Carolina. In other words, if you consent to have sex with someone, then change your mind midway through and tell them to stop, they can force you to continue having sex with them and still be found not guilty of rape under North Carolina law. It's worth emphasizing here that North Carolina is the only state in the United States where the law explicitly states that you have no right to withdraw consent during a sex act once consent has been given. It's a problem state legislators have been trying to address for years without success. State Senator Jeff Jackson has introduced a bill to change the law and establish a clear right to withdraw consent after intercourse is underway. But according to Lawson's article, the bill is unlikely to make it out of committee this year. Senator Jackson is a Democrat, but 2 years ago he introduced a similar bill alongside 2 Republican co-sponsors. No luck. Jackson tells Lawson that he's found widespread support for the bill among his fellow legislators, many of whom didn't realize this irrevocable consent loophole even existed. Why then is it so difficult to change the law? Jackson lays some of the blame at the feet of toxic right-wing blogs, such as the Daily Haymaker, which is apparently popular among some of North Carolina's conservative legislators. In April, the Daily Haymaker posted an article objecting to Jackson's bill, ridiculing Jackson for attempting to legislate the rules of fornication and pandering to the Women's Studies Department, but never even attempting to address the content of the bill or refute the necessity of it. Doesn't that sound familiar? Oh, but hey, that's just North Carolina, right? 1 state out of 50 doesn't equal a rape culture, now does it? If only it were that simple. While North Carolina is the only state where the law explicitly rules out a right to revoke consent, in 41 other states this is a gray area, where neither the legislature nor the courts have firmly established whether the right to revoke consent during sexual intercourse is recognized or not. Only 8 states, including my home state of Maryland, affirm that consent can be withdrawn at any time during intercourse, and that forcing intercourse to continue after consent has been withdrawn is rape. And of those 8 states, only 1, Illinois, has established the right to revoke consent through legislation. The others have done so through court rulings. In fact, here in Maryland in 2006, a court cited North Carolina's State versus Way case when it overturned a rape conviction on the grounds that the sex act in question had been initiated consensually. That lower court ruling was overturned 2 years later by the Maryland State Court of Appeals, which ruled that consent can be withdrawn after the start of intercourse. Yay, Maryland Court of Appeals. 77% of the U.S. population lives in a state where the law does not explicitly affirm the right to withdraw consent during intercourse. And the 10 million residents of North Carolina live in a state where the law explicitly denies the right to revoke consent. Some might say rape culture doesn't exist here because rape is illegal, but I ask you, what good are rape laws that favor rapists over the raped? If the right to revoke consent is not affirmed by a society, how can that society's commitment to preventing and punishing sexual assault be taken seriously? How can we deny that rape culture exists in the United States as long as people who have been raped are told by the law and the courts, you said yes before you said no, so your rape doesn't count? Look, rape culture is a widespread and complex phenomenon. It resides not merely in our laws, but in our social norms and our personal attitudes and behaviors. Nevertheless, this is one of the few facets of the larger problem where the solution is simple and straightforward. In North Carolina and in every other state where it could potentially be exploited, we can demand that our legislators and our governors close the irrevocable consent loophole and enact legislation that affirmatively establishes a right to change your mind during sex, a right to say no, even if you already said yes. This loophole must be closed. These laws must be clarified. If we wish to live in a society that truly respects and enables the autonomy and agency of all people, then of our leaders and ourselves, we can demand no less. Hey folks, hope you found that one worth watching. If you did, please like, share, and subscribe, and also please consider helping me to make more videos like this one by supporting this channel through Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/Steve Shives to become a patron. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.